Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Drop Third Dudes. Today, we're going to be grading every team's performance so far in the 2026 season. I'm with Luca, and so we might as well just get right into it. The way that we're doing our grades is that we are judging based on how we thought the team would be performing so far up to this season. So, Luca, if you want to get us started, we'll start with the AL East.
Let's do it. So in first place, sitting right now, is the Tampa Bay Rays at 31-15. I'm giving them an easy A plus. I expected this team to finish last in this division coming into the year, and obviously still very early. Many things can change, but this is definitely the team that's impressed me the most. They're pretty middle of the pack in many of their offensive categories. Lower too, 26 in team homers, about 16th in runs, and 21st in slug. But what they do is they put the ball in play. They don't strike out. They're third in average, second lowest K rate, and they're third in the league with 47 stolen bases. That's just Tampa Bay Ray baseball. That's how they're going to beat you. And then also the pitching. Their starting pitching has been great. When you look at McClanahan, Nick Martinez, Steven Matz, Drew Rasmussen, that's a top four that can take you far in a season, especially in this division, which we thought was going to be pretty talented, but so far it's proving maybe not to be. But my one concern is that they do a lot of their offense falls on three guys. It's Caminero, Yandy Diaz, and Jonathan Aranda. So I'd like to see maybe a little more all-around offense, but they've got the pieces to do it. I've been very impressed with this team, and I've seen some people skeptical that they won't be able to keep it up, but I'm pretty confident. I trust Tampa Bay. I trust Kevin Cash. I think they're going to keep it going.
Yeah. Yeah, the line is producing way more than I thought they would.
Yeah.
At the start of the season, I thought it was just Caminero, and that was kind of it. And I really like with Caminero that he's kind of really changed his approach because people aren't really throwing him as many strikes because there's no really need to. So he's really helped kind of lay off those pitches. He's swinging way less, and it's helping him get on base more. It's helping keep the lineup going. And then I think a big thing for them is just Shane McClanahan might be back.
I agree.
I've been very scared because he hasn't pitched in 3 years, but he has been stellar. And if he can stay stellar, that's going to be a big help for this race that I also had projected to be the worst team in this division.
What grade did you end up giving them?
Oh, yeah, A plus, easy.
Yeah,
that's right.
Easy, right?
That's big.
One of the easiest ones. All right. Do you want to start with the next one?
Sure. So next in the standings would be the New York Yankees. I have the Yankees at an A minus. They're one of the best records in the league, but that was kind of expected for the Yankees. The pitching's been pretty great overall, especially Cam Schlittler. It's really nice to see a young player break out like that. Judge and Ben Rice looks like two of the best hitters in the league. Ben Rice kind of had the underlying stats last year, but he's really showed out this year. And then Bellinger's also carrying his weight. I was a little skeptical on Bellinger. I didn't know if he could keep it up, but he's really seemed to be doing that. You'd like to see throughout the deeper parts of the lineup a little bit more consistent offense, but I mean, with those two juggernauts in the middle, it kind of lets you score runs pretty consistently. So I think they'll be able to keep it up too.
Yeah, I agree. I went a little lower with them. I went B plus. I think maybe a week or two ago they would have been at an A, but they had a bit of a rough patch over the last week. Did you know that they were 0-6 this year against teams that are 500 or better?
I did not.
So, and they're sitting at a plus 69 run differential, which looks great, but then I'm thinking, okay, is that just them beating up on worse competition? But then you're looking at where they rank in both offensive and pitching categories as a team, and it's high up there. I saw they were one of only 4 teams with a total offensive WAR over 9, which is impressive. They're third in WRC plus and second in ERA. So the metrics are definitely there to show that this team is probably legit. Carlos Rodon's back. I don't know when Garrett Cole's coming back, but it's got to be soon. Fried going down does hurt. And I do share that concern about the deeper part of their lineup. You know, you give Grisham the qualifying offer, $22 million, and he's been just downright bad. They need Jazz Chisholm to get it going, Stanton to stay healthy.
Yeah.
But I think they're deep enough where when it all comes together that this is probably going to be the best and most feared team in this division. Sorry, Tampa.
yeah. I think they might be able to keep it up a little bit. I don't know if they can keep it up as much as they've been playing.
Right. Okay. Shall we move on?
Yep.
All right. Third place right now is the Toronto Blue Jays, sitting at
Really?
21-26. Definitely disappointing. I went D plus for them. I wanted to go a little lower, considering they were just one win from the World Series, and many people probably picked them to win this division, but they have been pretty blitzed by injuries with guys like Alejandro Kirk. Shane Bieber hasn't pitched yet. Addison Barger's missed time. George Springer's missed time. They just got Trey Savage back, so they're getting a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. But my concern coming in was, could the offense do what it did last year? They were very reliant on George Springer being, his old self last year, which was pretty unexpected. And I was thinking, if he can't replicate that this year, I'm having trouble really buying into this offense. And then Vlad sitting at 3 home runs as we are almost in June is just unacceptable to me. They don't have a single qualified hitter with an OPS over 800 right now.
Yep, I have that listed too.
So I'm concerned about it. They need Kirk back. They need Barger back and to do what he did last year. They need Springer back. I just think this team is too reliant on that for me to really be excited. But it's a long season. It's still so early. The pitching has been all right. I have them 14th at starting pitcher ERA. I mean, Dylan Cease has been worth every penny so far. Gosman's been solid. Getting a Savage back is going to be huge, but I'm a little concerned about this team right now.
Yeah, I will say with the Alejandro Kirk injury, Brandon Valenzuela have been catching a lot, and I saw in terms of outs above average or defensive run save.
Yeah, he's great.
One of those. Yeah, he's been fantastic, and so I've seen they've been really happy with him. But my grades I've noticed are kind of from the view of a fan of that team. So if I was a fan of the Blue Jays, I would give them an F so far. Okay. You're not at all compared or playing as what you think you would be playing. You want to see your star players playing well, especially if people have already kind of had concerns about these star players like Vladdy. I've seen a lot of people kind of say, "Oh, he's not as good as you would kind of want him to be as consistently." He was great in the playoffs, but you want to see more power from your power hitter, and especially this year, he has not shown that at all. So that's a little concerning. The injuries, of course, suck, but as a fan, the record kind of that more so matters. Cease is a huge get for them. I don't know if he's doing his thing where every other year he's good, or if he just actually is good, but I would just really, really like to see more from pretty much everywhere on this team.
I mean, Okamoto's been great, and for being, coming over from Japan, I was concerned when they let Bichette go, and you're really going to run Jimenez and Clement as your middle infielder. Great defensively, don't get me wrong, and I know what Clement did in the postseason, but having those two as your starting middle infielders when you maybe could have invested in Bichette, I don't know if I agreed with that one.
Yeah, and I don't really know if they have anybody coming up in the farm immediately.
Right.
I know they have JoJo Parker, who was drafted last year, who looks like he could be really good, but he's also just out of high school. Yeah. So he's got some room to grow. So yeah, it's a little scary for that team.
I agree.
All right, we'll go next. Who is next in there? Based on my grades, I really can't tell who would be next.
I think it's Baltimore.
It's Baltimore? Okay.
I have it. Yes, it's Baltimore.
Okay, so I have Baltimore at a D+, I think. That says D+-, I think it's supposed to be D+. The rotation's been bad. That was expected. They were really hoping Shane Baz could not be how he's been, in his career. They were hoping they were going to take a step up. Didn't. Doesn't really seem like that's happening. Gunner's been pretty disappointing to start, which I've noticed in fantasy. Holiday's hurt, which we both noticed in fantasy.
Yes.
The catchers are really their only two guys that are consistently putting up good stats, in Basayo and Adley, which is kind of a good problem to have, I guess. But you would hope for more. And Taylor Ward has been the most kind of interesting player, I think, to me so far this season.
One home run.
He swings 28% of the time. He just refuses to swing the bat. It's so funny.
But it's working. It's working.
He's getting on base, yeah. But I think there's a point where you have to kind of take away a little bit of that on base ability, try to get some power in the bat. But yeah, it's kind of really seem all over the place. I don't really know what they would have to do to get consistently better. If Westberg was coming back, I might have a little bit more faith in him, but now that's not happening. So yeah, it's another team that's like really scary when you look into the deep
Yeah.
parts of it.
Yeah. So I went with a D. Just very disappointing. I mean, do you remember that Jeff Passan tweet earlier in the offseason where he was like, this might be the best lineup in baseball?
Yeah, I thought it was too. I thought it was. But
It's not even close. You invest a bunch of money in Pete Alonso, and he's just not been kind of the veteran anchor that you were hoping he would be.
Yeah.
Like you said, the rotation's been bad. I have them 27th in starting pitching ERA. That's brutal. And
Yeah.
I don't want to say they half-assed the rotation coming into the year because they did invest some pieces into it, but I maybe would have went about it a little bit differently. Like Framber felt like a good fit there.
Yeah.
But in terms of could this team turn it around, I don't know right now. I do
Yeah.
I do think that Pete and Gunnar are going to get it going. Not getting Westberg back hurts, but yeah, this is another team I'm a little worried about. This division is not playing out how I thought it was going to be whatsoever.
Not at all.
All right. In last place, and my first F is the Boston Red Sox. We did our standing projections before the year. I thought the Red Sox were going to win this division and maybe even get that 1 seed in the American League. They're at 20 and 27 right now. Alex Cora is already gone. I'm kind of at the point where I don't think Craig Breslow is very good at his job. At third base, you go from Rafi Devers to Alex Bregman to Caleb Durbin in the span of not even a year. Garrett Crochet pitching terribly before getting hurt was just kind of a big disappointment. Sonny Gray's been decent. Ranger Suarez has been pretty good. And then I like Peyton Tolley and Connolly Early. I think those are two great young pieces to have in your rotation. But the fact that they still have Brian Bayo pitching every 5 days, they got to do something about that. The bullpen's been great. I have them at 4th in the league in bullpen ERA. I think if this record persists, I think they could get a pretty good return for Aroldis Chapman and maybe some other pieces. But the lineup's been disappointing. Trevor Story's terrible. I don't really have much to say. I'm very disappointed in this Red Sox team.
Yeah, especially I had them winning the World Series coming into the season. And that is not looking like it's going to happen. But I have them at a D, mainly because that rotation does have pieces that I feel like are young and can stay good for a while. Again, you were talking about Ranger, Early, Tolley, and Sonny Gray have all been pretty good. Crochet, rough to start the year. He's hurt now, so maybe that had a factor into how he was performing. I also saw his arm angle was down a little bit. I don't know if that was really having too much of an impact, but could be something to look at. I'm a little more confident that Crochet can be good. He is Garrett Crochet. So I think the rotation will be able to stay good. Bullpen's been good, but that offense is definitely rough. They got Wilson and Willier are their two guys that are like actually hitting. And as a fan, you would really, really be scared about Roman Anthony. He hasn't played great. I don't really care about that. But his persisting back issues, and now his wrist is hurting, which is like always, that usually is kind of a persisting injury too.
It happened on a swing too. I remember watching it. He just swung the bat.
And there was a report yesterday. He was like, they were excited that he was going to start swinging, and then he said, "Oh, I'm sore." So they had to shut him down. So they're a little scared about that. But I don't really even know what to say. It's not playing out nearly as I thought it would. The offense has to get it going if they want any chance of coming back. It is early at least. So.
Yes. That is the one thing about all these grades. Anything can change.
Anything can change. All right. We'll go over to the AL Central, who in first place, I think, are the Cleveland Guardians. Yes. I have them at an A-. Maybe it should be an A-ish. But you see Angel Martinez, David Fry, Chase DeLauder, and Schneeman. I can't remember his first name right now.
Daniel.
It is Daniel. They've all been good and a little surprising. I mean, David Fry was good 2 years ago. so maybe you could have seen that coming. But they've all been pretty good, leading the Guardians to an AL Central first place so far. The pitching staff has been pretty great, or pretty steady at least, and Parker Messick and Joey Cantanillo have been like great for some reason. I don't know what the Guardians do. Because even J-Ram's not even having a good year. Stephen Kwan sucks. They're like players that should be playing well aren't, and yet they're still winning games. It's annoying as a Tigers fan to see, but you can never count out the guards. They always they play guard ball. Like basically the Rays of the AL Central.
Yeah.
So you can't be mad with what they've done so far. Got to give them an A-.
Yeah, I went B+, but I could definitely see the A-. I mean, just offensively, they're just middle of the pack. It's kind of always where they're going to be. But I think the most important part is that they're finally getting like multiple solid contributors in that lineup outside of Jose Ramirez. Like all the guys you mentioned are playing a big role. Brian Rocchio has been solid too. Like, I think that's huge, and I really thought this team was just going to be mid this year, but they're doing it again. Yeah, like you said,
they find a way.
They find a way. What are you going to do? But I do think that this Guardians team's better than last year's team. But
yeah, probably.
We'll see what happens. I don't particularly enjoy watching them that much.
Yeah.
All right. In second place, and perhaps one of the biggest surprises in Major League Baseball, is the White Sox at 24 and 23. Another easy. This is an easy A+, no doubt about it. This team is way ahead of schedule, and I think we're seeing a young core kind of develop in front of our eyes faster than some people might have expected, with Miguel Vargas, Murakami, Colson Montgomery, Sam Antonacci, and then in the rotation you've got Davis Martin's pitching well. You've still got Noah Schultz. They've still got some pieces at AAA that could help this year, like Braden Montgomery. And then don't forget that they have the number 1 pick. So whatever they do with that could even exactly could even impact the team as soon as next year. I don't think that this White Sox team is going to finish above 500. I still think they're young, but they're definitely playing well. They have some mojo, and I would be very excited if I was a White Sox fan right now.
Yeah. I had them in an A, but after thinking for 0.4 seconds, I changed it to an A+. Davis Martin has been incredible. They've had some other people have some great performances. They've called up a lot of the young guys. Noah Schultz hasn't had the best stats so far, but who cares? He's made, 4 starts, 3 starts, and has a lot of talent. That's the more so thing you got to look for in pitching. But yeah, that offense has been way better than I thought it would be. Munetaka, been fantastic. Colson Montgomery continued what he did last year. Miguel Vargas has been incredible. Mydra gets hits. Sam Antonacci gets on base, gets hits. He got called up, a month ago maybe, and he has 8 hit by pitches so far. Doesn't move out of the way. Love it. That's what I did. Also, Derek Hill, former Tigers legend, has been great, and he's also a fantastic fielder in center. Just a lot of dudes putting up stats that you kind of wouldn't expect, and you love to see it from these young guys. And I think what even makes it all the better is that their minor leagues have been so good. Everybody that you would kind of want to play decently well has been fantastic. Between Braden Montgomery, between Hagen Smith has been pretty good. You had Caleb Bonner, who's the top 15 prospect in baseball now. You just love to see everything that's going on with White Sox ball. So you got to give them an A+ there.
So I'm curious. I'm really curious what they do with Murakami. I know that maybe the idea was they sign him and see if he can become a dude, and then maybe trade him. He's only on a 2-year deal, but I'm wondering if they're going to play their way into maybe trying to extend him.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to at least keep him for this year, and then if things go bad next year, you can always trade him at the deadline.
Exactly.
But I think he's worth keeping so far for this year.
Exactly.
Next up are the Minnesota Twins, I believe, which I have at a C+. Definitely playing better than I thought they would be. I thought they were one of the worst teams coming into the season. And you have Taj Bradley, Joe Ryan, and Bailey Ober all pitching pretty well. No Ober didn't strike anybody out. He's still figuring out how to do it. But there's not really much going on outside of that in terms of the pitching. I don't really think you would expect there to be much going on outside of that anyway. So that doesn't really have too much of an effect on the grade for me. Byron Buxton and Ryan Jeffers have been great. I didn't really even know how good Ryan Jeffers has been, but he's had a really, really great year. And Brooks Lee was doing well. He's kind of slowed down. I think that was expected. He hasn't really been able to keep up that offensive consistency as you were hoping when he was a prospect. But yeah, I mean, they've been a little bit better than I thought they would be. There's nothing I'm super feeling good about. Todd Bradley's always good to see play well, but he kind of always goes on stretches of playing well and playing horribly. So we'll see if he can keep it up when he comes back from his injury.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I went with the C. They started great, fallen a few games under 500. This is kind of about where I expected them to be. I think they have enough, high-end major league talent to kind of compete, but also not enough to be good enough. I just think they need to be serious and sell. Trade. I feel like they waited too long last offseason. I think was the prime time to get a good return on Joe Ryan, Buxton, Lopez before he got hurt. Bailey.
Well, Buxton doesn't want to get traded. He has this.
I think if they came to him and said, "We want to trade you to a contender," he would consider it now.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, I really think that that's just what they need to do. If Jeffers keeps this up, you're going to get a better than anticipated return. I'm pretty sure he's only going to be a rental, but a catcher with those offensive numbers, I think teams would pay up for that. I think they just need to be serious and make a trade. I don't really. You would probably know better where their farm system sits. It's probably pretty average, right?
They got the two outfielders,
Rodriguez and
Rodriguez
behind
and
that, right?
Walker. Yeah, but outside of that, I can't really think of anything else.
Yeah. So
Caleb Culpepper is also.
Yeah, he's a good prospect, but just think it might be time to be serious here.
Yeah,
this team is not going anywhere anytime soon with this core. They need to make some moves. All right. Next up, actually, I'll let you take the charge on the Tigers here.
Oh yeah. If I could do an F-, I would. I don't like watching my favorite team play baseball, and that's the number one thing that a fan should want to do. So by definition, I think you have to give them an F. Now there's 13 people in the IL. At the time I wrote this, there were 15, so a little bit of an improvement there. But yeah, you have Scooble out until probably, I think we were saying June now. I don't know. I think Boras is trying to talk him up a little bit. He's going to be out for a little bit. No one in the bullpen has really been good, except for Kyle Finnegan. And even recently, he's been a little more suspect. You have Riley Green, Kevin McGonigal, Dylan Dingler, who are kind of consistently putting up good at-bats, consistently kind of getting on base. But even McGonigal struggled this month. Dingler hasn't been nearly as good as he was the first couple of months. Riley Green's been fantastic. That's the one thing I can't take out of this. If anything was to boost that grade, it would be Riley Green. But there's just nothing outside of that. You have Torkelson, been awful. Wenzel Perez, awful. Parker Meadows, awful. Matt Bierling, Jahmai Jones is our lefty specialist, and he's hitting 227 against lefties. There's just nothing that you can look forward to with this team right now. It's very, very sad.
Yeah, I don't have much to add to that. I just went with a D, another team I gave the benefit of the doubt with the injuries, especially Scooble, Kerry Carpenter, Gleyber Torres. Those are two big pieces of the lineup. So
yeah, but even they've been sucking this year when they were playing.
But again, I do feel like this is a team that is very talented when they're all healthy. And granted, that's not something that always happens. But the biggest X factor to me is Torkelson. That's a guy that needs to really get it going. He can't be this bad if this team wants to make a run. I think he's probably maybe outside of Carpenter, the biggest power source, and Green, obviously the biggest power source. I mean, Green's really doing it all, so behind that you want more protection, and I think that would be Torkelson, but he just hasn't been that so far.
Yeah, outside, he had a stretch where he hit 5 home runs in 5 games or something like that, and he hasn't done anything outside of that.
So it's disappointing, for sure.
Yeah.
Do they trade Scooble? If they're still under 500 at the deadline.
If they're under 500, and he is able to make 1 or 2 starts before the deadline, and he looks good in those starts, I think there's probably a 98% chance he's traded. Because it doesn't look like we're gonna extend him. I think that would be a smart move anyway, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
I would agree with you. All right. In last place, another disappointing team in my opinion, the Kansas City Royals. I went with a D. because this division does feel a little weak right now, and I think that 8 games under, you can kind of make a little bit of a comeback. But definitely disappointed. I think this was kind of like a sleeper wild card team that a lot of people came in with high expectations for. But I think what I thought was their biggest strength, their rotation, has just been kind of all right. They're 20th in ERA. Like Lugo's been okay. Walker's been pretty good, but Reagan's was not doing great before he went down. Noah Cameron's been like just awful. Bobby Witt's been great, kind of showing why he's the best shortstop in the game. But the guys around him who are supposed to support him and be protection, like Sal Perez and Vinny Pasquantino, have just been bad. There's no way around it. Jack Caglianone's been all right. Carter Jensen's been pretty good, but beyond that, I'm having trouble seeing it with this team. I'm pretty disappointed.
Yeah, and Michael Garcia too also has not been nearly as good as he was last year.
Exactly.
Bubic, you want to see more from too. He's been not like horrible, but you would hope he could just be an above-average pitcher for you, but he hasn't been that so far. You really would want to see Jack be able to like consistently put up some good production, and he hasn't necessarily done that so far. Carter Jensen hasn't been bad, but again, you just hope that you can see him progress. If you can see progression, at least from the young players, you can take something away from the season. But yeah, I also have him at a D at the moment.
Yeah.
All right. So we got the AL West now. We should probably try to go a little bit quicker through
Yeah,
these.
we can do that.
So let's see. In first, the A's in first.
Yeah, the A's are in first. A game.
Looking at my grades, I have them at a B so far. Pitchers haven't been great, but they're playing in a tiny ballpark. It's kind of hard to put up any good stats in that ballpark. But if you look at the hitters, you got Shea Bangaliers, you got Nick Kurtz, Chris Cortez, and Zach Geloff have all been good. It's really nice to see Geloff playing well because he had his stretch when he first came up that he looked great and kind of hasn't been able to keep it up. So it's really nice to see him doing well. And a lot of their players that are still struggling, a lot of the hitters are struggling, like Lawrence Butler, but a lot of them are younger, and you kind of expect younger hitters to have these up and downs. As long as you can see them start bouncing back a little bit, you are going to be really happy with what they've been done. And so, you can't really just be mad with where you are if you're an A's fan. You're top of the division so far. You've seen some of your young players really show out, and even the ones that don't, you can have some faith that they will be able to bring it back.
Yeah, definitely. To your point of the struggling hitters, they're putting up, good offensive numbers with, Soderstrom and Rooker struggling, who were probably two of their best 3 or 4 hitters last year. So, if those guys do eventually get it going, this could be, a lethal offense. Yeah, the pitching's been better than I thought it was. Their rotation is 17th in ERA. They do lead the league in home runs allowed, but obviously, like you said, that's a AAA ballpark that they're playing in. Especially in July when it hits 110 there, it's going to be rough. This division's up for grabs right now. So go get a starting pitcher at the deadline and see what you can do.
Yeah.
I went with a B+, by the way, for them.
Yeah, it's good.
All right, second place, another disappointing team, but maybe not reflected in my grade, is the Mariners. I just went with the C. This feels like an annual Mariners thing where they start off kind of slow, kind of average, and then they kind of start to put it together near the end of the year. But I can definitely see from a fan perspective, Game 7 of the ALCS, you would expect this team to be better. But I think they will get it going. Like, Cal Raleigh's not going to hit 160 the entire year. Yeah. And they're still getting, like, Randy Rosarena's been great. Brendan Donovan's been good when he's been healthy. Luke Raley's been good. And I still think their rotation is great. You're pretty much subbing Luis Castillo's production and putting in Emerson Hancock, who's been great. The back end of the bullpen is still good. They're going to get Matt Brash back. So I feel good about this Mariners team. That's why I gave them a C. I think they're better than their record suggests.
Yeah, I have them at a C-, so pretty much the same. Castillo's underperforming, but he's getting older and he's kind of showed some signs, so you're not necessarily too shocked by that. But the rest of the pitching staff is great. I know Brian was struggling a little bit to start, but he's kind of gotten this act together. And Luke Raley has been fantastic. I didn't really fully understand what he was doing. I think his OPS was over 900. And you have people who can contribute all throughout that lineup. That's kind of the thing with the Mariners. They're just pretty deep. Even right now, again, Cal's hurt and was not playing well. Julio is playing like he's early season Julio, although he's a little bit better than normal early.
A little bit better.
So at least that's good to see. But yeah, there's some consistent dudes throughout the lineup, and they just called up Colt Emerson, and he hit a home run yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to see. They said he's going to be the starting third baseman for the foreseeable future. So that's really cool. You would want to see more as a Mariners fan, but you can't necessarily be too upset with how it's been going since we're still in second. It's still early, and you typically get better throughout the season anyway as a Mariner.
Definitely.
Next up are the Rangers, I think.
Yeah.
Rangers. It's definitely Rangers. So I also have them at the C-. Josh Jung is really nice to see have a good season. He was good when he first came up, and then he's kind of been injured and just not been able to put it all together. So it's really nice to see that he's able to put it together. Ezekiel Duran also has been able to put it together. I know a few years ago he was pretty good, and then hasn't been great since then. Brandon Nimmo's getting on base, as Brandon Nimmo does. But the rest of the lineup has a lot to be desired, especially from Corey Seager. You have your stars, and you want them to play good. You kind of are a little more fine with stars struggling a little bit because you can expect them to pick it up. But when they're aging stars, that's when it is stressing me out a little bit, because why exactly are they not performing? Is it just unlucky, or are they deteriorating? So I hope that's not what's happening this year. But DeGrom has been great. Somehow he's 38 and still one of the best arms on the planet in terms of talent. Some of the bullpen arms, pretty good, but no one's been terrible from what I have. And that's kind of one of the things you have to look at. You just have to have consistency throughout your pitching rotation. And while they might not have too much star power throughout that pitching staff, it's all pretty good, which in the end can win you some games. But you just hope that since you have so many old players on this roster and so many big contracts, that you kind of have to put it all in now, and it's not looking like that's going to be possible at the moment.
Yeah, I went with the C-. This team is just painfully average. They're probably just going to win 80 or 82 games. DeGrom's been great. I think the biggest part is, like you said, Seager and then Langford. They need both those guys. Those are their two best players. They need both of them to be elite if they really want to push for this division. I mean, it's still up for grabs. They're probably one or two games back right now. It's still up for grabs.
Yeah.
You still have Evaldi and Mackenzie Gore behind. Kumar Rocker and Jack Leiter have been. I think Jack Leiter's been a little better, but you maybe would want to see a little more out of them. On paper, it should be a good rotation, but yeah, they've just been kind of painfully average to me. So I'm putting a C- for them.
Yeah, they're still only a game back of the A's, so same with the Mariners. So they're all pretty much right there still.
Exactly. All right, well, we'll move on to the Houston Astros, 11 games under. I debated giving them an F, but I went D-. They've had a lot of injuries, especially with Hunter Brown and Correa, and Jeremy Pena's back, but I think he started the year hurt. They haven't had Josh Hader. That being said, they have the worst pitching staff ERA by about half a run. So this team cannot pitch. They score runs. They score a lot of runs. I had high expectations for them coming into the year. I think when we did our standing projections video, I was the only one who had them making the playoffs. I thought they were going to be better. I'm really disappointed in myself and with them. I think they need to just trade everyone. That farm system is bad. Trade Yordan at the peak of his value. Trade Christian Walker now that he's putting up numbers. Trade Paredes. Really the only person I think they should keep is Hunter Brown.
Yeah. They're one of the worst records in the MLB. I have an F just because you kind of have put in some money and you made some trades throughout the past few seasons with the goal of competing, and they're not competing at all. You got Yordan, Walker, basically the only people doing anything on the offense. Cam Smith has put up some decent stats sometimes, but he's not consistent enough yet. the pitching staff is getting lit up basically every day. Spencer Arrighetti is like one of the only people that's been pretty decent, and I don't trust him at all. And there's nothing to look forward to with the pitching staff outside of Hunter Brown coming back, which is not a good thing to think about your pitching staff. You need to be able to have some consistency there. Be like, oh, at least we can hold this run or hold this lead today. Nope, allowing 15 runs in the sixth. So it's just it's bad all around for the Astros so far. It definitely looks like a fire sale is going to be on the way.
It should be, and if they don't, it's going to be frustrating.
Yeah.
All right.
Last up, the Los Angeles Angels. And I was thinking we might just want to do the AL today, and then maybe next time we can talk about the NL.
Sure, whatever you want. Whatever's easier.
Yeah, just to split up the time. All right. Angels are I think they're the worst record in the MLB. Yep. So just based off that, you kind of have to give them an F. Trout and Soriano are kind of the only bright spots, and so it's really nice to see Trout play well. You always want to see Mike Trout play well. He's one of the best talents I've ever seen. Jose Soriano is really nice to see as an Angels fan because they haven't had pitching in so long. You might wonder if they only drafted pitchers and none of them were good. Mm-hmm. So it's nice to see that they finally have a dude that they can trust. But the players that have been like excelling the past few years that you were hoping would continue that, such as Logan O'Hoppe, Zach Neto, and Joe Adell, are bad.
Yep.
And that, you, as an Angels fan, you were probably just looking at those 5 players playing well. Like, that's what you would want coming into the season, and it doesn't matter what your record would be. You're like, okay, nice, we won the season. Our players played well. Nope. And the only, Trout's playing well, but he's old. It doesn't matter if he's playing well for the future. So it's as an Angels fan, you have nothing that, and as you were talking about the Astros prospects, I think the Angels have less than the Astros in terms of prospects. So yeah, it's scary there.
Yeah, I went F. I don't think it's a reach to say this is the worst run organization in the league. I don't even think it's. I mean, maybe it's close. Maybe Colorado's giving them a run. But
yeah, this is the Rockies, but at least they've shown some improvement.
They brought in a new regime, whatever. This is about the Angels. I mean, can you believe their owner said that winning isn't like a top 5 priority for their fans? Why are people watching baseball? I can't even think of 5 reasons you would be a fan of a team instead of winning, right? But yeah, like you said, Trout, Soriano, that's really all I wrote. I literally said, I don't want to talk about this team except for Trout and Soriano. And I said, Trout, please request a trade. I don't think it's going to happen. It seems he is just totally content with not winning and living in Southern California, which, I mean, if that's what he wants, that's fine, because I think if he truly wanted to win, he would have been wearing a different uniform by now.
Yeah. I mean, I always respect players that kind of stick it out. But
yeah. I was talking to someone.
It's a bad team to stick it out with.
It feels like Damian Lillard, he was trying to be loyal to the Blazers, and then he finally got traded. I mean, it didn't work out for him, but this is kind of what it feels like right now. He just say, I want to go play for my hometown Phillies. Just say that. They'll do it. But yeah, that's all I've got on them.
Yeah. All right, so that was the entire AL. I think we'll hold off on doing the NL just to make sure this video doesn't get too long. But let us know your thoughts, if you agree with our grades, if you disagree, and what exactly you do agree with, what you do disagree with. And if you're a fan of any of these teams, let us know, at least give us a positive note about your team. There's too much negativity around baseball these days as a fan, especially
the American League, which is so bad.
Yeah, especially the American League. So I know I didn't say very nice things about the Tigers. I talked about Riley Green. That's my positive note for the Tigers. So go find your positive note for your team. Let us know in the comments. You got anything else to add, Luca?
Thanks for watching. That's all I got.
Yeah, thanks for watching. We'll be back again soon with the NL. And until then, take care.